Good afternoon, sir.
Hi, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
Yeah.
Good afternoon, sir.
Hi.
Good afternoon to all of you.
आप सभी को कानपुर के इस वेबिनार में आप सभी का स्वागत है। विशाल जी, आप जुड़ गए हैं?
यस सर।
ठीक, मूर्ति सर जुड़ रहे हैं?
हाँ सर, एक मिनट, एक बार उनसे बात कर लेना सर, एक सेकंड बस।
ठीक।
सर मेरी आवाज आ रही है?
हाँ, आ रही विशाल।
यस सर।
Vishal ji,
यस सर।
at one premises, two devices are working, so it is giving resound. Please make sure.
Two images working.
Two devices in the sense one opens the mobile as well as laptop.
So please open one device, sir. Why you are opening two
No,
devices?
not me.
Oh,
One of the participants are doing it. That's why
okay, sir.
resounding is coming.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
So-
I'm clearing. I'm clearing.
You only keep the
Webinar
speakers.
protection
Yeah,
digital and board becomes increasingly digitized. The landscape of identification devices at a rapid pace.
Better mute.
Every participant are requested to mute yourself.
Only you please keep open the three speakers and my phone and your administrator's phones.
Okay, sir.
The rest of the phones should be mute. Okay. Now we don't find such a disturbance. Wonderful. There are 31 participants now in this group, in this meet. And our speaker, Dr. Sirisha Madam, has joined.
Yes, sir. Hello, sir.
Oh, thank you.
Hello, sir.
And our chief guest also joined. Balram ji.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon. Wonderful. So, Vishal ji.
Yes, sir.
All the three speakers are ready.
Yes, sir.
And now we are at your command. You please start as you wish.
Sir, please give me 2-3 minutes because we have given the time to the 3 p.m. We will wait for.
Sure.
Okay.
Sir, am I audible?
Yes, you are audible very much. Namaste, sir.
Yeah, man.
Good afternoon, sir.
Yeah. Hi, hi.
Balram ji,
Yes, sir.
I'm not. Yes. You greet our chief guest, Sri Krishna Deva Rao, Vice Chancellor of Nalsar University. He is also today's speaker. Balram is from Nepal, sir.
Okay. Hi, Professor Balram.
Yeah, yes, sir. Namaskar, sir.
Yeah.
Shirisha madam,
Sir,
where are you? Not to be seen.
yes, I'm just turning on my. Hello, sir.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Sir, she is Shirisha.
Okay.
She is from Andhra Pradesh.
Okay.
Sri Krishna Deva Rao is our chief guest today, and he is Vice Chancellor of Nalsar. Just I want to introduce the three speakers before the meeting commences.
Sure.
पारिवारिक संबंध में राजनीति मत विशाल प्राचार्य जी जुड़ गए, आप शुरू करा लीजिए। विशाल, मेरी आवाज पहुंच रही है आपको?
यस सर, यस सर, यस सर, आपकी आवाज आ रही है
हाँ,
सर?
प्राचार्य जी जुड़ गए, आप शुरू करा लीजिए।
ठीक है सर, ठीक है सर, ओके सर, गिव मी 10 minutes. Am I audible?
Yeah.
यस।
Good afternoon, everyone. Myself, Vishal Gupta, co-convener of this international webinar and assistant professor, Law Department, VSSD College. I welcome you, everyone. Let me briefly introduce about this webinar. Topic of today's webinar is consumer protection under digital era. This webinar is organized by Consumer Law of Legal Aid Cell, Law Department, VSSD College, along with association with Consumer Advocacy Group. Now I am going to discuss how this topic is relevant in today's world. The digital revolution has transformed the way we shop, bank, and interact with the world. But with incredible convenience comes new challenges. This webinar dives deep into the topic of consumer protection in the digital era. We will be exploring the evolving landscape of online transactions from e-commerce to social media. We will identify the potential risks faced by consumers, such as data breaches, online scams, and unfair business practices. But before that, to start with, first of all, I would like to invite our respected principal, sir, of VSSD College, Professor Bipin Chand Kaushik, sir, for his welcome address. Principal, sir, please.
I am audible here.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You are audible.
Thank you, Vishalji, and thank you for all organizing committee. I welcome Professor Shri Krishna Dev Rao ji, Dr. PVS Murthy ji, Dr. Balram Prasad Raut ji, Dr. Shrestha Mathur ji. This topic is very relevant for all consumers and all law students because consumer awareness is very less in this society. Everyone is a consumer, but the rights of consumer is very less. This webinar will introduce all students to communicate with the society for these topics. I welcome all amazing scholars to join this, and I also request to you, please come my college in physical way. I welcome you all again. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir, for inspiring and motivating us. Your kind words always inculcate and motivate us to do better. Thank you so much, sir. Now I invite the patron of VSSD College, CA, Mrs. Neetu Singh, Secretary, Board of Management, VSSD College, for her address. Ma'am, please.
विशाल
Sir,
मैम जोड़
ma'am.
नहीं पाई है किसी टेक्निकल वजह से।
Okay, sir, no issue, sir. Sorry, I think there is some technical issue. So, ma'am is not able to join. So, everyone, please, sorry for inconvenience. We are moving forward for another. Now, to proceed further, now I would like to call the convener of this webinar, Mrs. Amrita Verma, for introduction of the guest and moderation of webinar. Ma'am, please.
Hello, Vishal, I'm audible.
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. You are audible.
आप सभी को मेरा प्रणाम. Welcome everyone to today's webinar on consumer protection in the digital era. As our world becomes increasingly digitized, the landscape of consumer rights and protection is evolving at a rapid pace. The rise of e-commerce, digital payment, and online services has brought unparalleled convenience, but also new challenges and risks for consumer. In this webinar, we will share and explain the current state of consumer protection in the digital age, discuss the legal framework in the place, and highlight recent developments and examples that understand the importance of robust consumer rights. Thank you everyone for joining us. We hope this session will empower you with the knowledge and tools needed to navigate the complexities of consumer protection in the digital era. And it is my distinct pleasure to introduce our esteemed speaker for today's webinar on consumer protection in the digital era. Each of our speaker brings a wealth of knowledge, experience, and a deep commitment to consumer rights. Firstly, we are honored to have Murthy sir with us. Namaskar, sir. Who has
Namaste.
been at the forefront of advocating for consumer protection in the digital marketplace. Next, we welcome Professor Sri Krishna Deva Roy, is a teacher and scholar in criminal law and access to justice. Professor Roy is currently Vice Chancellor, Nalsar University of Law, Hyderabad. Before joining Nalsar, he was VC of NLU Delhi for 2 years and also served as VC of NLU Odisha for 6 years. Professor Rao was Fulbright Nehru alumni. He had the distinction of working with 5 prestigious law universities in India for the past 3 decades: National Law School, Bangalore; Nalsar, Hyderabad; Gujarat National Law University, Gandhinagar; NLU Delhi, and NLU Odisha. His major areas of research are in criminal law and criminal justice administration, where he has contributed to significant research in preventing custodial. I welcome you, sir. Next we welcome Dr. Balram Prasad Rao, Head Central Department of Law, Tribhuvan University. He is a renowned expert in having extensive research experience. He's been also a PhD research coordinator, Faculty of Law, Tribhuvan University. He has published so many books, chapters in books, and various research articles. I welcome you, sir, also. Next, we have with us Dr. Shrisha ma'am, who is an MBA, MPhil, PGDHRM, SET PhD, and has 16 years of teaching experience for MBA and MCOM courses. And has also published several papers in various national and international journals. We are incredibly fortunate to have such a distinguished panel with us. I hope this session, this webinar will definitely benefit our students and all the participants who have joined this webinar. I welcome you all and all the best for the upcoming webinar.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am, for that kind introduction of above guest. Now I also welcome V.S. Tripathi, sir, Dean of Kanpur University. I welcome sir with folded hand. Now it's time to start with the webinar. First of all, for formal introduction of our association, CAG Consumer Advocacy Group, I would like to call the founder of the CAG International, Dr. PVVS Murthy sir, who has taken all the effort, I must say all the pain to organize this webinar. Dr. Murthy is from the long time working for the welfare of the consumer and in spreading awareness regarding consumer laws. Dr. Murthy sir, please.
Thank you, Vishal.
Thank you, sir.
Good afternoon. I am PVVS Murthy, representing a consumer advocacy group. This group was created in 2017 for consumer education and protection. Our group has members from all the 28 states of India. We have nearly 1,500 members and wish to increase the membership to 2,000 before this year ends. Every month we are organizing at least one national webinar with the support of a college anywhere from India to create awareness to consumers. This month, VSSD College, Kanpur, has come forward to organize an international webinar jointly with us. On behalf of our group, I profusely thank Board of Management, Principal, and Ajay Bhupendra Jaiswal particularly for their cooperation. This webinar is our 53rd webinar. 50% of our group consists of women and youth. Our group declared 2024 year as a year of environmental protection. we are encouraging our members to take up activities in that direction. I take this opportunity to request the college authorities to motivate students to take up plantation programs during this coming rainy season and also collect plastic waste for recycling. I do not wish to stand between you and the learned speakers, and my respects to our chief guest and guest speakers. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Your dedication and effort at this age really motivate us to do better. Now we are glad to have VC of Nalsar University, Hyderabad, Professor Sri Krishna Deva Rao sir. I humbly call respected VC sir for the lecture on the topic consumer protection under digital era. Over to Professor Sri Krishna Deva Rao sir. Sir.
Dr. PVVS Murthy Garu, Consumer Advocacy Group, Principal Dean of VSSD Law College, Dr. Balram Prasad from Tribhuvan University, Shirisha, and friends. I appreciate and congratulate VSSD College Kanpur for organizing jointly with CAG this very interesting and international webinar on consumer protection in digital era. 1986 was a historical movement in India. 1986 was the first comprehensive law on consumer protection. Consumer protection is something which is necessary, and consumers constitute all citizens, not just only in India, all over the world. Let us remember on this moment at the international level, Ralph Nader, several others in the United States, those who realized that once the market or even the pre-era globalization started, after the industrialization, and when the slowly society is becoming more consumer products and markets started emerging all over the world, in India and the other parts of the world, particularly the United States, Ralph Nader realized consumers are exploited and consumers have become vulnerable in the modern times. Then they realized that there are basic safeguards, protections are necessary for the consumers. Similarly, in India, 1980s, 85, 84, the several measures and people like Jaji Madanna and several other have taken an efforts to start. Manubhai Shah particularly, who some of these were the pioneers in creating this law policy in protecting the consumers in India. That was the and with the 1986, in fact, that was the time where the first time people started the People's Law. What is the People's Law? Is the consumer protection. And 2019, another landmark. In between, there was some of the amendments have been made to the Consumer Protection Act. 2019, what we have seen, the development of information communication technologies, and the citizens are slowly moving, are becoming netizens. We have also realized that the 86 Consumer Protection Act needs to be amended to cater to the several of these, the digital era. And that's where 2019 has come out with the first time defining the consumer. Of course, consumer is a citizen, consumer who consumes the goods and services produced, but also the major with the digital era which is entering, e-commerce becoming a major entity, and the world has become a global village. So we realize that the e-commerce, the markets, the digital markets, telemarketing, and several of these have added several dimensions to the Consumer Protection Act. So consumer protection has become a matter of increasing public concern, particularly due to unfair trade and business practices that seriously affects consumers, consumer product, consumer services, health, safety, financial distress to the consumers. I once again reiterate the main objective of consumer laws and organizations is to ensure the rights of consumer as well as trade, competition, accurate information in the marketplace. Therefore, the consumer laws are designed to prevent companies that engage in fraud or unfair practices from gaining advantage over the competitors. It also provides additional protection to the most vulnerable sections of the society, particularly the citizens. First, let's look at 7 important consumer rights which are recognized in the Consumer Protection Act. What are these important 7 rights? First, right to satisfaction of basic needs. Second, right to safety. Third, right to be informed. You know, Right to Information Act came much, much later. But the right to know, right to information have been recognized long before the Right to Information Act in 1986, because that is the key right. The consumer needs to know what is this product, what is this services, and how it will provide much more efficiency and knowledge about the product. So therefore, I would consider among the 7 consumer protection rights, right to be informed is very important. Second comes the right to choose. You know, in the market, you have several products, services, several things are available. So we have a right to choose. Fifth is right to be heard. Right to be heard, as law students, we know it's a part of the principles of natural justice, and it's a essential ingredient of any knowledge society, and right to be heard is a very important part of any legal system. Right to redress is the 6th right, which is again very important. Damages, compensation, if the products are not good products, if the services are not being provided, or any other things which we buy, which is in the marketplace. So if it is something which is not a good product, we need to have a damages and compensation. Right to redress is another important of the consumer protection right. Lastly, the purpose of this webinar, what you are trying today is to create more education. What is required is awareness among the consumers. Grahak Jago, Grahak Jago. That is a consumer aware, consumer must know. So right to consumer education is very important. So these are the 7 important consumer rights, which are very important. Both started from 1986 onwards. So Consumer Protection Act, as I said, which was replaced with the passing of the new Consumer Protection Act in 2019, which provides simple and quick access to redressal of consumer grievances. It has 3-tier quasi-judicial redressal agency at the district level, state level, and national levels. The new Consumer Protection Act proposed measures to tighten the rules to safeguard consumer rights. One of such measures is e-commerce, which has become an essential way of purchase of goods and services with the development of information and communication technologies. And you look at the number of consumers and citizens in India, those who use the mobile marketing, And the users of the mobile phones is an amazing, alarming number in the India because of several developments. And so this also has become a problem and difficulty for many of the citizens in India. I'll come after a moment about how telemarketing, which has created a new unfair trade practice. Earlier, we were speaking about unfair trade practice means only this, the companies and those who produce products, and sometimes those who are also sell the services. And when we avail the services, some of these problems, the unfair trade practice we have seen, but a new era of unfair trade practice has emerged. After e-commerce gained momentum in India, the definition of consumer has been expanded to include those who engage in offline or online transaction through electronic means. 1986, we were just looking at consumer means who buys, consideration, the products or avail services. But 2019, we realized that so digital era has come in. So therefore, the definition of consumer has been expanded, and they said whoever engages in online transactions through electronic means. It also includes teleshopping or direct selling and multi-level marketing. And it provides consumers with a remedy in case of multi-level marketing. All the entities involved at various stages of production in marketing and e-commerce are brought under the purview of this 2019 Consumer Protection Act. It encompasses all forms of purchases, including teleshopping, direct selling, and multi-level marketing, whether they takes place offline or online. I think this is a new dimension which has been added in the e-commerce, and they wanted to bring many of these under this the new Consumer Protection Act. With this also, as we have seen, we can't think about any of the person at least once in a week buying or purchasing anything on our mobile and online shopping. Amazon has become almost all part of the everyday affairs of the Indian citizens, not just those who are in Kanpur, cities or other, but also in the villages. So we purchase through our mobile, and with the Paytm and several other online systems which have evolved, it has become very easy. And we never realized. In fact, COVID has taught us many other things. Of course, we have underwent a lot of distress, and several other issues have come up through the COVID first, second phase. But also, slowly the Indian society moved towards more and more online methods, and particularly the consumer, and whether availing the services or purchasing of the product, we have started, the online shopping has become a everyday common phenomenon in the Indian households. So many people who goes to online shopping becomes victims due to the false or misleading advertisements, defective products, fake delivery of products, unsafe products. They also encounter other issues such as payment, security, and privacy, and unilateral contracts. However, there are laws to deal with such an issue. Particularly 2019 Consumer Protection Act is very tough and very rigorous in dealing with the penalties and also dealing with these issues. So these are the laws which are available, but somehow it fails to protect victimized consumers because of the poor implementation of the laws due to jurisdictional issues also. We know, we look at that this jurisdiction means only in this area it is happened, which consumer district forum, state forum, which has the jurisdiction to deal with. When it comes to the digital era, this is a major challenge because this is connected. Online has no jurisdictional boundaries. So there are technical jurisdictional issues are also, that is another reason for the failure of the 2019 Act, or a lack of proper implementation for getting redress, and also the redressal of the grievances of the consumers. How can the laws be implemented or made properly as to alter and protect the needs of the consumer? We all need to collectively think about it. What can the government do to solve the problems in e-marketplaces is a challenging. Here, I would like to highlight about the recent Amazon case. We know Amazon, as I said, it is a online marketplace. Anybody wanted to purchase anything and go to the online website and then yeah. So this Amazon case is a recent case where the Delhi District Consumer Dispute Redressal Commission recently imposed a penalty of 45,000 on Amazon and a retailer for taking nearly a year and a half to issue a refund for faulty laptop. This is Anil Kumar and others versus Amazon Seller Services Private Limited. This is a recent where the Delhi District Consumer Dispute Resolution Forum, because this is a simple case. This Anil has purchased a laptop, and the laptop found to be is a defective laptop. And then it took almost 1.5 years for getting replaced the new laptop. And so therefore, the recklessness of the Amazon and trying to avoid the immediate replacement of this laptop, it created a lot of obstacles to the petitioner Anil Kumar. So therefore, the Delhi District Consumer Redressal Commission has not only just directed the Amazon to immediately replace, but also their recklessness attitude for delaying for more than 1.5 years, they put a penalty of 45,000. It also, the court also said Amazon does not have an appropriate grievance redressal mechanism. That's true in all the online market, e-marketplaces. Absolutely. They wanted to escape from the liability. This is the major issue in the e-commerce and marketplace. And the court, the commission, Delhi District Consumer Commission also pointed out that their sale terms is one side oppressive. If you look at a contract agreement, when you buy, purchase anything in the online, you have to sign a contract. That contract is not only unilateral, it is oppressive. It gives a double advantage to the company rather than the consumer. The commission has also directed the Amazon to provide foolproof and transparent grievance redressal mechanism to the consumers. So this Amazon case highlights, this is one tip of an iceberg. Several of these, thousands and lakhs of people have been cheated through the e-commerce and other. This is the major unfair trade practice which is emerging in the current times. Let me look at two more issues and then close before I conclude my speech. Second important issue is we heard of unfair trade practices in general that we have been observing and we have realized from 1986 onwards. But a new term, new phrase entered into the digital era that I call as a digital unfair trade practice. India is one of the largest phone-based fishing markets because of the high use and low tariffs of mobile networks. Somebody claimed that there are more than 120 to 150 million phishing messages sent every month, and one of the 12 users is entrapped. Only 1/10 of the victims report the crime. We know very few people will file a complaint or approach a consumer commission, but that's almost all. Only 1/10 of the victims report the crime, and even less get their money back. And we are all victims of telemarketing. The worst offender, somebody has said, the insurance companies, builders, banks, and everybody said, "Hum aapko paise dete hai, you loan dete hai." So all this you have seen. And we are all victims of these telemarketing. Calls, messages also violate the privacy. This is called as unfair trade practices. What is called as every day we receive so many messages, phone calls. How did they get access to our mobile phone? How did they get our number? These are all the calls and messages not just violate our privacy, but also the unfair trade practices. We have seen recently emerging as a new phenomenon. Somebody will make a phone call and say that there is delivery of your is pending with us, and we have received, these goods are on the way, and then later they will say that this is a drug or a contraband article, and somebody will try to call you and then take your bank account. They will say immediately, otherwise police will come. You know, narcotic drugs and psychotropic substances is a major legislation which has a lot of severe implementation. So in the name of this, that so-and-so parcel you have received, this consists of a narcotic drug, this consists of something else, and then this is serious. Several of these I have seen recently. The media also, newspapers also have reported several of these things are happening. These calls and messages are the unfair trade practices, digital unfair trade practices. And a new set of guidelines for unsolicited and unwarranted business communication have been passed 2024, which were issued under the Consumer Protection Act 2019. The new Act 2019 Consumer Protection Act has also set up an Apex Central Consumer Protection Authority, and e-commerce transactions have now been brought under the provisions including direct sales. The criminal liability too also has been added. Misleading and fraudulent advertisements now also attracts a fine of 10 lakhs in the first instance, as well as an imprisonment of 2 years. Fines for repeated offenses can go up to 50 lakhs and a prison term for 7 years. So these are all issues related to not only telemarketing, and we have discussed about Amazon case, the new phenomenon, digital unfair trade practices emerging. I'll just close with 2 more issues. The important of 2019 is a new dispute resolution mechanism emerged. Chapter 5 of the 2019 Consumer Protection Act speaks about mediation and online dispute resolution. So any disputes which may be resolved through the mediation, whether it is offline mediation or online mediation. Mediation is a new alternative procedure. Section 89 of the Civil Procedure Code was amended long ago, 1999, and it came into effect from 2002. That first time introduced that we need to look for not just a court-based dispute resolution. Outside the court, can we resolve our disputes? 2019 is a game changer by introducing mediation. So all of us, particularly the law students and law teachers and lawyers, must understand and analyze and use the mediation practices. Mediation is a extended negotiation. A third party will resolve and facilitate the coming to facilitate an agreement between 2 parties. The party may be a consumer and also a company. So mediation, there is a need for creating more and more education, skills relating to mediation, particularly consumer-related disputes, both online and offline. Lastly, to still 1986 to 2024, even though we have a robust, comprehensive law and policy, the consumer dispute resolution, earlier forums we used to call, now commissions, and their jurisdiction has increased. And then the criminal penalties have also been added in 2019, but still this is not a comprehensive law which is still has to be done. How this will be strengthened, how the law will be strengthened when there is a collective action. And also the law colleges have to play a major important role in creating and also creating a dispute resolution committees, working with the district consumer forum and creating a mediation center within the law colleges and working with the district consumer commissions. And that is a new era. And also offline and online dispute resolution can be created. So awareness is very important. As I said, in the 7 consumer rights, 3 are very important, are particularly importantly 2. One is right to redressal and right to education. And right to redressal is further refined, including the mediation. So I once again appreciate and congratulate VSSD College and CAG, Professor Dr. PVVSS Murthy, coming together and creating this awareness, and such type of webinars, conferences, and more practical learning skills are very important. And thank you for giving me this opportunity to share some of few ideas and thoughts. And all of us have to collectively work towards creating more and more consumer awareness and also involve in resolving. And all the law colleges have to take the major lead in this. And once again, I congratulate VSSD College for organizing this webinar. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Sir, can we take one or more question? One question or 2 questions, sir? If you permit, if you have a time.
Sure.
Sir, one of the participants is asking, please elaborate of accepting unreadable terms and conditions, how a consumer is going to address this issue.
Just tell once again, what's the question?
Please elaborate of accepting unreadable terms and conditions, how a consumer is going to address this issue.
Actually, he is referring to the small font agreements which they are making.
Okay. Yeah, these are all agreements when you purchase anything on the digital market or online market era. As I said, Amazon case has clearly said, there's a, whatever the contract agreement, we have to read, we have to give our consent and then sign it. Most of the times are generally, they are more oppressive. They favor towards the companies. So what is the best simple form of agreement? That's I think a difficult issue that requires a lot of education among even the companies and consumers, and these consumer commissions have to come out with a simple, effective contract agreement. What is a contract? Contract is the both parties enter voluntarily and agree to abide by the terms and conditions. Sometimes if you look at purchase of a laptop or purchase of a mobile phone, the contract agreement runs into pages, and which is in a very small print. You can't even read that. But once you do that, you have to quickly, you have to sign, you say that I have read, I have understood, and I will abide by the contract. That's creating the problem. But let's hope in future, some of these, it will be simplified, and a one-page contract, or even simply mentioning about the date and the product or the services we are availing. And then I think that will simplify in future some of these, because contract is something which is not just only oppressive, it's a confusing. It helps who is aware of the contract agreement. The company is much more eager, and company attracts the consumers to purchase this, and they put the favorable clauses to them. Sometimes the monopoly clauses are also there. So I think, hope I'm able to answer this question.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you very much, sir. Now we are moving further. Thank you very much, sir, for your enlightening speech. Your expertise has truly enriched our understanding of consumer protection under the digital era. You have talked about the various rights which a consumer have. you also talk about the unfair trade practices. You also given a many example of unfair trade practices. This will be very helpful for our audience. And thank you very much, sir, for joining us and giving your expertise to our audience. Thank you, sir. It's time to call another speaker for today's webinar. Sir, Dr. Balram Prasad Rao, Head Law Department, Tribhuvan University, Nepal. I would extend a warm welcome to sir from Nepal. Sir is a leading expert in the field of law to share their knowledge with us today. Sir, please.
Thank you, sir. Honorable Professor Dr. Sri Krishna Dev Rao, PC Nalsar, Hyderabad University. Dr. P.S. Murthy, founding member, CA, G International. Honorable Principal Professor Bipin Kaushik, Principal, GSSD College, Kanpur. Dr. Srisha Manchem, Assistant Professor, Andhra Noela College, and other dignitaries who are participating in this webinar. So my topic of today's presentation is actually e-services in Nepal, and that specifically I have tried to focus on online shopping and its credibility. So as Professor Rao has already focused about the rights of the consumer and what are their rights and how they are protected and how they should be protected. So in Nepal also, from the digital point of view, that the e-commerce is one of the growing industries in Nepal. So it is estimated that formal e-commerce has an annual turnover of Rs 10 billion, and the market is growing by 150% annually. So as of last year's data, there were already more than 40,000 registered commercial websites in Nepal. Actually, comparatively to other countries, that this data may be the small for Nepal, the number of the size of the population and the size of the country. So this is a very huge number, and that several online services or service providers are providing the service, what we call the e-commerce. And that while we are talking about the e-commerce, then what is the situation of the actually service, and that how consumers are actually getting the service, and how much effective and what we call it's a credible for the service receivers through the online. So in Nepal, if we talk about e-commerce, then in Nepal, the one thing is that it is operated formally and informally. So number of online sellers selling goods and services informally has risen sharp by recent years. So, and that the policy related to e-commerce has been also bringing the informal online marketplace into the formal sector, and also minimize the cheating of the customers. However, that if we compare to other actually Indian market and that the digital market in India, then Nepal is not up to that level. So there are several reasons. There is not only the problem with the service providers through the online, but as well there is also problem with the what we call the laws, policies as well. So, and from that's why that the consumer are also little bit affected by the service providers, because there is no law, and that is most of the services are being provided through the online, but it is informal, we can say. So there is one policy, but that policy cannot regulate all and every types of the services. For example, in Nepal, we have also what we call we have also Uber. So Uber is not there in Nepal, but in the form of the Uber, we have also the services like the ride sharing, but not in the form of Uber or others. So in Nepal, there is one Bangladeshi company, we call it Pathao. So they are, giving the service through online and that sharing the ride in Nepal. So both the motorbike as well as the car. So, but what is the situation of the law in Nepal? If we see, then the Consumer Protection Act 2018 we have, and it has defined what is actually service. So service means electricity, drinking water supply, telephone, information technology, health, education, and consultation, transport, drainage, banking, and other services of similar nature. And this term also includes the legal or medical or engineering service. So these are the services which have been mentioned in the Consumer Protection Act. And that, as I said, that there is no specific law regulating the e-services or the online shopping, generally we can say, or the online services. But there is one e-commerce bill pending. We call it the e-commerce bill 2020. So it has also defined actually what is e-commerce actually. So it has simply defined that any selling or buying of service through the platform, electronic platform, that is the e-commerce it has defined. And then, and it has also defined actually what are the goods and the services. So in Nepal, if we talk about the constitutional and legal provisions, then Constitution of Nepal is there, and there is Consumer Protection Act 2018, and there is Consumer Protection Rules 2019, and I said that there is even one guidelines. It is not a policy but guidelines, national guidelines on e-commerce developments and its use in Nepal 2000. And then I said that the e-commerce bill is there, which has been already passed by the upper house of National Assembly.
I think there is a network issue.
In Nepal, there are certain connectivity problems. So we'll have to wait.
Sir, yes, sir,
Network
we
is
are
very
waiting.
low in Nepal.
So
Yes.
yeah, so sorry for the disturbances.
No issue, sir. No issue, sir. No issue.
Yeah, so that I don't know why there is the net problem. So that so Article 44 of the Constitution Nepal is a very substantive provision which has guaranteed the consumer rights as the fundamental. Consumer Protection Act 2018. So this 2018 Act has defined or provided several legal measures to protect the consumer rights. So that it has also provided rights of the consumer. So several rights of the consumers have been mentioned in this Consumer Protection Act, as Professor Rao has mentioned that. So something less maybe or more maybe in the Consumer Protection Act, but almost similar provisions are there. So for example, that it has provided the regulation of goods or services. Then the Act also provides the what type of the quality of goods and services should be when any what is the service providers provide the services. Then consumer protection, it has also provided the Consumer Protection Council, which is at the center and policy making body. Central Market Monitoring Committee it has also provided. As well, it has also provided Provincial Market Monitoring Committee. Local Market Monitoring Committee is also there, and that if any goods are found substandard, so that will be destroyed and confiscated as well. So that the service and goods, both things we find in their law, and that if anyone violate this Consumer Rights Act, then there is the heavy punishment or fine as well. So for example, the punishment is up to 2 years to 5 years imprisonment, or fine from 400,000 to 600,000 rupees, or both penalty. So this is the Nepali rupees. So 2 लाख से लेकर 5 लाख तक नेपाली रुपया हुआ, और उसके बाद या तो 2 बरस से लेकर 5 बरस तक कैद का भी, इम्प्रिजमेंट का भी व्यवस्था इसमें किया गया है. उसके बाद दिस लॉ, दिस द कंज्यूमर प्रोटेक्शन एक्ट हैज आल्सो प्रोवाइडेड provision relating to consumer courts, so that however that the act provides the consumer court, but this court has not been yet constituted by government of Nepal. There I don't know, but this is so that the person to be chairing this consumer court will be the district court judge. So this, and that there is the only the remaining thing is that the government has to assign any district court judge as the leading judge of the consumer court, but it has not been yet completed. And appeal is, if anybody is unsatisfied from the decision of the consumer court, then they can go to the high court within the 30 days of the decision of the consumer court. And that it also provides that if anyone violates the order of the consumer courts, then there will be the case initiation by the consumer courts, that we call the contempt of courts. So that is there. And that I said that the e-commerce bill is still pending in the House of Representatives. However, it was passed by National Assembly, the upper house of Federal Parliament in Nepal. But still there are several problems relating to the what type of the provision will come final. But there are certain comments as well. So someone said that this bill is not sufficient. However, if you see the major provision, that it has also provided heavy punishment for the person, to the service providers, if they violates the e-commerce bill. So that it has proposed 2 to 3 years jail and fines ranging from 300,000 to 500,000 for the operators of online platforms, and sellers if they fail to process returns or exchanges within the time stipulated. However, this provision has been proposed, but still several consumers are cheated by the service provider who are using this electronic platform, and that what they promise and what they show in website, they do not provide and give the service as they say. And actually, so so that is there. And if we talk about the judicial perspectives in Nepal, then there are several services decisions related to the consumer rights, but not directly related to the rights violated through the e-platform. So that has been yet to see what type of the decision will come if somebody will violate the consumer rights by using the electronic platform. But from the consumer right perspective, that the physical violations, that we call the medical, that we call the other type of the services provided by the medical doctors and others, then Supreme Court of Nepal sometimes found very much proactive towards the protecting the rights of the consumer. However, if we talk, so because of the lack of the laws and policy is also not so sound and good, that's why there are several challenges as well. Or on a healthy competition, we can also say. So increase in competition does not always mean that the quality of products and services is going to increase at the same ratio. So why? Because there is a lack of the trust in the, what you say, in the most of the e-commerce companies, because they are not able to convince the audience So there are many factors that contribute to this and disappointing experience. Then as well, that there is also absence of, I said that law governing commerce. The law is lacking there. So consumer activists, the consumer rights activists also say that the penalties are not stringent enough to prevent fraudulent activities. However, that there are other several laws related to the governance of the e-commerce or service. For example, we have Electronic Transaction Act 2000. Sorry, 2007 to 2003 or 4. So, but that is related only the if someone defame, someone misuse the electronic platform or some in a such way that act can be used. Otherwise, that act is not sufficient to deal the consumer rights. Then, and that at present time, it is also not easy to file a complaint because there is no law. And even somebody file the complaint, then there is very difficult to get the compensation for the customer. So that is also there. So that's why thousands of gig workers are working for e-commerce platforms and delivering goods by motorcycle and bicycle, but e-commerce bill has not mentioned them anywhere. So these are the lackings of the e-commerce bill in Nepal also. So that's why Nepal, about the consumer rights point of view and service being provided through the e-platform is not reliable and credible. Why? Because there is the law is lacking, and services are also not reliable, and what they promise they do not fulfill it. And another big problem is that the payment gate, what we call the payment, that as in India there are several payment modes, that the Paytm and others are there, but in Nepal still such type of the payments means is to be developed by the government of Nepal. But I said there is some, like we call e-seva, that is also there, but that is, so we pay the money, but we should wait to get the return back money if we return the goods or we do not get the reliable services. But it is not sure whether we will get return back our money or not. That's why in Nepal still people are hesitant to get the services from the e-platform. So yes, so with this few slides, I want to conclude my presentation, and that I would also like to give thanks for the organizers, as well as Professor PVS Murthy sir, as well as our chief guest today, Professor Rao, and others, that to giving me this opportunity to share my information and legal provisions about Nepal. However, if there will be some questions regarding my presentation, then I will try to respond them. Thank you, sir.
If any of the participants have any question, they can open the mic and ask the question. Please, one by one. First of all, Sotura Tripathi, do you have any question?
Hello, am I audible?
Yes, you are audible. Please ask.
Good afternoon, professors. I have a simple and easy question that in automobile sector in Nepal, why there is too much inflation related to costings?
Yes. So, that one thing is that in Nepal, that Nepal is also member of WTO, and that WTO does not prohibit to impose the duty on the customs. So Nepal is free to impose the duty on any any type of the goods that Nepal import from the other countries. But the thing, so that's why, and that in Nepal the major sources of income is the customs duty, that we say that what we import the goods and we impose, and then the government of Nepal gets. So that is the major income source for the government of Nepal. So there is no other alternative at present time for government of Nepal to go in the other alternatives, and so that reduce the amount or the tax at the customs, and to then the inflation will be reduced in the automobile sectors. Yes. So in Nepal, if you say that take the service, taxi service, then it's comparative to India, it's almost 5 times expensive here in Nepal. So, yes, thank you.
Thanks a lot, sir.
Is anybody also have a question? Any participant? Sir, I think there is no question more. I can, if we can take, because from chat box also, no, there is no such important. So we are moving further.
There is a question in chat section.
Chat section. Okay, great. Sir, one more question. How about tourism and consumer right in Nepal?
Yes. Once again, would you repeat the question?
Sir, he's asking how about tourism and consumer right in Nepal. I think he's relating tourism and consumer right in Nepal.
Yeah, so tourism is another important sector for Nepal to get the money that the tourists who are visiting in Nepal. So yes, that in Nepal tourists are welcome, in a very good manner, and Nepali people are also good, so they also treat very well. But the something may be lacking, that you can say that what we call the hotels, restaurants, or the places some places where tourists visit, then some security problem sometimes they face. Otherwise, that for the visitors or tourists, that I think it's a very good place. Yes, sir. Yeah.
Does anybody have any other question? Okay, we are moving further. Thank you so much, sir, for your passionate and thoughtful, provoking speech. Your contribution to consumer protection in the digital era are greatly appreciated.
Thank you.
You talk about e-commerce. You also have given. You also give many provision of Nepal related to consumer. This will also help us whenever we will go to Nepal. So it will be very easy and good for us. And now I'm going to call our guest speaker,
Yes.
Dr. Sridhar Manchem, Assistant Professor, Andhra Loyola College, Andhra Pradesh. Ma'am, please. Ma'am, please unmute yourself.
Yeah. Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
So, Mr. Vishal, and
Yes,
my
ma'am.
regards to Professor Sri Krishna Dev Rao ji, Dr. Balram ji, Dr. Jaishwal ji, who personally called me yesterday. Thank you, sir. And Dr. PVS Murthy, sir, our very own Murthy, sir, who never fails to surprise us. Thank you, sir. Thank you for giving me this opportunity. To start with, I think, say consumer protection in digital era, I think this is the most apt topic that we have chosen for this webinar. And consumerism, as we all know, is continuously on a rise, which is a very good thing, I would say, because consumerism, it also adds to improved economic activity, right? It boosts production, it creates employment, it generates profit. So it is like ever increasing and ongoing thing, which is also very good for all the economies, like developed countries, developing countries also. Okay. Even the third world countries are also getting benefited because of ever increasing consumerism. Cultural aspects are also we are like exposed to several cultures. We are changing our lifestyles for better. Okay, we are having multiple interaction with multiple people from different cultures. That is all possible because of consumerism.
Ma'am, again, it is mute on your side. Please unmute. Hello, ma'am. Ma'am, you are not audible.
Am I audible now?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Now you are audible.
Okay, okay. So I was speaking about consumerism, right? So it also has an impact on the psychological aspects. Like we started, the whole world has started giving a lot of importance to material possessions. Okay. So from one side, I mean, from one angle, I think it has added a lot to development of all the countries across the world. Okay. So that is all about consumerism, which has contributed to shaping economies, different cultures, individual behaviors, and all. Okay. So at the same time, the consumer protection and exploitation of consumers across the world is also unfortunately on a rise. Right? People have become more profit-oriented, more materialistic, and they started exploiting consumers also. And consumers, even educated people, they are not aware of their rights. They are not aware of the exploitation that is being taking place across the world. So that is where consumer protection and a law in favor of consumers and its importance has come into picture. And consumer protection has been a topic of debate for so many decades now, right? Many countries, including our own India, our own country, has come up with so many laws, regulations, and practices which are designed exclusively to ensure consumer rights and to safeguard them, to protect them from unfair, deceptive, and harmful business practices, right? So many aspects, there has been a regulatory framework where different countries like America, European Union, India, as Professor Balramji has just now said, Nepal, no country is an exception in coming forward to formulate laws to protect consumerism and consumers. Okay, to help them help them access safe products. Consumer safety is one such element which is of utmost priority, be it food safety regulations or be it regarding any material goods like electronics or children's toys, whatever be it. Okay, whatever be the products, whatever be the services that we consume as consumers, it is our right to be sure of safe practices, safe products, and safe services, right? At the same time, we all have certain rights, as Professor Rao was rightly pointing out towards the rights of consumers, like right to be informed, right to choose, right to safety, right to be heard, and most importantly, right to redressal. If at all something goes wrong, if at all something happens, then we have to have a mechanism, we have to have a forum, a dais where we can approach, we can get a redressal. So, and we have to be protected from all unfair trade practices like deceptive advertising, showing all kinds of gimmicks and all kinds of dramatic presentation of advertisements, dramatic presentation of products and services. That is all deceptive. Okay, you dramatize something, but whatever you are dramatizing, let there be some truth in it, right? You cannot make false claims. Like recently, we have come across an example of Patanjali, the company, the major brand in India. And courts have very ruthlessly pointed them out and warned them that they have to, rethink about their claims and all. Okay, and any other fraudulent activities or fraudulent practices should be severely punished. The companies have to abide by the rules and laws. At the same time, the consumers also should be aware of the rights they have. Okay, it is not enough if a law is made, if an act is made. Consumers have to know, they have to be aware that something is there in existence in a country to protect them, to safeguard them. So I personally feel that is a major failure, that is a major flaw. Okay, so that is where consumers have to be made aware that there is a redressal system, there is a mechanism, there is a law in their support. Okay, for that purpose, consumers need to be educated. They have to be aware that something is there for their safety, in favor of their protection, right? So I think webinars like this and people like Murthy sir and all the eminent personalities who are present here, they are all contributing towards creating that awareness, right? Especially in India, we have a lot of rural background, villages, where people are very easily, very generously, I would say, exploited. But they are not aware of the exploitation they are going through. They are not aware of the law that is there in their for their help and all. So that is where we have to, I mean, that is a major flaw or a major failure in our system. And that is where that is the thing which needs to be addressed immediately. Formulating laws, making laws is not a big thing, I think, in these days, but executing them, letting the people aware that there is something in existence, they can get a redressal. That is a major flaw. That is a major concern as far as countries like India are concerned. We are a very major market. We are a very, very huge market. We all know that is the reason why all the Western countries, US, they are all looking at India because we are a huge market. And we are full of innocent customers, innocent consumers. So people, I mean, companies, they are having, they are taking all the benefits, undue advantages because of this situation. And the policymakers, I think, have to address this very point. They have to create that awareness. They have to make the people aware, enlightened, that there is a mechanism for their protection. They need not silently bear and keep quiet. Okay, they have to fight back. They have to get to a system where it really helps them, right? And especially in digital era, like this digitalization, this internet facilities and this COVID, as sir in the beginning has pointed out rightly, Professor Rao, COVID has really, it acted as a catalyst in increasing the, the digitalization in India. And I think I'm not wrong if I say that India is such country where digital transactions are at its peak, even more than America and other European, the so-called developed countries. So this is another challenge which has added to the complexity, to the lack of awareness of consumer protection, right? So this like privacy, data security is a major challenge these days in digital era, which we are facing. Okay, high profile data breach, exposing sensitive consumer information, leading to even identity theft and financial losses, leading to personal, image loss. Okay, that data breach, even India has faced a major data breach. There were even rumors that the Aadhaar data, that was also hacked. So we just cannot be sure, like we cannot be safe. We cannot feel safe. Okay, even the government websites, even the government things are getting hacked and all. So which is a major concern when it comes to data privacy and data security in this digital era, right? And companies, they are collecting data, they are sharing data, they are without any adequate, security measures, even without the consent of the people, of the consumers, right? When there is no consent, when they are sharing our personal data with others, that is clear violation of our privacy. That is it's our right to be private. It's our right to safeguard our data. And when you give your data or information to one company or one person and they are sharing it without any boundaries, that is a clear invasion into our privacy, which is a major concern in this digital era. As Sir has rightly pointed out in the very beginning, he said, Professor Raoji, he said, how do the companies know? How are they getting the phone numbers? It is not just phone numbers. They are getting every private details, our address, our bank details, right? So where is the privacy? Where is the security? That is one major flaw in this digital era, which has to be very seriously addressed. Okay. Also, in digital era, there is no what you call area restrictions or regional restrictions. Online transactions occur across continents, across countries, right? So this is another challenge. Online transactions are posing jurisdictional issues, okay? Inconsistent regulations, no common standards between countries, right? So these international transactions are literally leaving consumers very much exposed and vulnerable to exploitation. That is another major challenge in digital era, right? And digital literacy and awareness, lack of knowledge, lack of digital literacy. India is a people of rural background, like more than 70% we come from rural backgrounds. Even educated people, they are not aware of the basic things like we should not reveal our OTP or we should not give our personal information to whoever calls us. Okay, so that is the state of people in India. And I don't say in India, but across the world, I would say, right? So if all the developed countries are so well equipped, if all the consumers there in developed countries are so well educated and so well aware of this, there is no point in conducting webinars like this. That is not happening. That is why we are trying to create awareness. So whether you are from a developed country or developing country doesn't matter, right? So consumer awareness is at the minimum level, and people, I mean, companies, they are taking undue advantage of this, especially in this digital era where digital literacy and digital awareness is at the minimum threshold. Okay, so that is another very serious issue that needs to be properly addressed. Okay, in terms of service or privacy policy or implication of data sharing, right? How can anybody share our data without our consent? That is my question. And how to stop it? The lawmakers have to address it. Okay, and frauds and scams are like everyday thing. Like we are breathing, so is a fraud happening. Okay, that easily online scams, online frauds are taking place. Okay, so even educated consumers, even consumers from urban backgrounds, from developed countries are falling prey to such sophisticated and fraudulent schemes and scams, right? Cyber crimes, okay, all these phishing emails, right? And especially the female gender, they are targeting the females online like anything. We are listening to so many stories. Okay, so that is another major flaw or major challenge when it comes to the digital era, right? And there are so many e-commerce challenges, and the eminent speakers before me, they have addressed this issue. The e-commerce websites, the kind of irresponsible behavior they are displaying, okay, the kind of frauds they are committing, all these e-commerce challenges regarding the authenticity of the websites or authenticity of the sellers, the quality of the products, what they are showing in pictures or what they are giving in the description, and what we are really receiving, there is no match between these two. And most of the people do not know what to do then. Okay. And when you try to return it or refund it, then they come up with lots of, the kind of obligations or the kind of agreements that we have already ticked yes. So these are all in favor of the companies. So people are losing, consumers are losing, right? So this e-commerce challenges, the lack of proper regulatory framework is a major challenge here, right? And this artificial intelligence and automation, I'm not saying that we should not make use of the technology or make use of the technological advancements. We have to. But at the same time, we also have to take care of our consumers, our rights as consumers. Okay. Sophistication, advancements, developments, they should not take away our rights. They should not keep us in dark. Okay. So that is where artificial intelligence, we don't know like what we are talking to, whether it's a human being on the other side or a machine on the other side. We don't even know that today. Okay. That is how artificial intelligence and Internet of Things. Okay, we are making use of all the security systems and all when we are thinking that we are all totally safe. What if a thing get hacked? Okay, what if our private information, our sensitive information gets exposed? Okay, we are hearing to so many cases of celebrities where their personal information is out in the market, right? So these are all the challenges, I think, especially in digital era, apart from the regular challenges we are facing. Digitalization has brought in all these new challenges, new issues, and new vulnerabilities into the picture, right? So I think we have to come up with certain, mechanism like international cooperation. Countries have to come together. They have to join hands. It is not India's problem or Nepal's problem or America's problem. Consumer is a consumer anywhere. Everybody is spending their hard-earned money and they have to have that protection. So I think all the countries, all the lawmaking agencies, irrespective of their country, have to come forward and together they have to fight against these challenges, right? And consumer education is one thing, creating awareness and educating the consumers. That is the base, that is the foundation. If awareness is there, education is there, if people know what their rights are, if people know what what kind of supportive mechanism is existing, then maybe slowly they'll learn fighting. They'll learn asking for their rights. They simply do not keep quiet, sitting and crying in the dark. That is not how it should be, right? So that is, I think, very, very important about everything. And coming to the major laws or regulatory framework, especially with reference to India, Information Technology Act is one thing where it speaks about all legal recognition of electronic transactions and digital signatures, cyber security. It addresses issues like hacking, data breaches, and cyber crimes. All these issues are addressed in India by Information Technology Act, right? So it imposes or it establishes a legal framework for electronic commerce and digital activities in India. And we all know the famous Consumer Protection Act 2019, where the e-commerce transactions are included. Okay. And the specific provisions of Protection Act 2019 makes it mandatory for the sellers to disclose their information, the return policies, refund policies, exchange policies, all these policies, it's mandatory in India to disclose whatever is the policy. Okay. So it ensures transparency, or it brings in transparency in online transactions. And it also imposes penalties for misleading advertisements. And it also holds even the endorsers, the celebrities, responsible and accountable for being in that act, for acting in that ad. Okay. Recently, the courts have also given this ruling also, that even the celebrities who are part of the advertisement, they can be held responsible if the seller makes misleading claims, right? And another very important law in India is Personal Data Protection Bill, PDPB, Personal Data Protection Bill 2019. Okay, so the key provisions are like it regulates the processing of personal data by public and private entities. Okay, so this bill makes it a mandatory that explicit consent for data collection is necessary. It's a mandate. Okay, so these are all the provisions that are there. These are all the laws that are there. But how far are they being implemented, and how far the consumers know that certain law is in place is a big question mark, right? And consumer e-commerce rules 2020. Okay, this is another law in India, the e-commerce rules as part of Consumer Protection Act. Okay, so it requires the e-commerce entities to provide clear information about, as I told you, the products, the return policies, the customer care details. It also prohibits unfair trade practices. Okay, it also obligates the e-commerce platforms like Amazon and all these platforms to ensure that sellers comply with the consumer protection laws. Okay, so these are the redressal mechanisms available in India. And Information Technology Act, it also speaks about the intermediary guidelines and digital media ethics code. Okay, exclusively in digital era. So in India, everything is included. Nothing is left out. The policymakers have included, they have understood the complexities in digital era, and they have included everything. Okay, so the national cyber security policy, this is also very important in India to ensure security of cyberspace in India. Okay, it provides a safe and resilient cyberspace for citizens, businesses, and governments, right? So laws are definitely in place, but how far are they reaching the common people, the public? That is the point of discussion, and that is the major challenge. Okay, so I think we can conclude this, like, and as a women also, I think, have a very major role to play in consumer protection in digital era, because they are the real advocates for education or, information. When women is educated, the entire family is educated. That has been the motto in India, right, from the past 75 years, right? And digital literacy and digital education is not an exception to that. So if somehow women are made a real part of this consumer protection fight, okay, then the reach and the range will be more. That is what I personally also believe. Because we obviously have that mindset that if we know something, we will try to educate the people around us, right? So that way, women are a very important stakeholder in the entire ecosystem, and they have to be included in this, and they have to, be made part of the entire system. Okay, they have to be educated about internet safety, the online transactions, online scams, personal data protection, more importantly. Okay, and the kind of redressal mechanism that is in place. If women are made aware of all these things, then the word spreads fast. people, most of the people, they make jokes on female gender. But, that can be also productively used for betterment of the society and betterment of the consumers, right? They can really be the, torch bearers for consumer protection in India or any part of the country, any part of the world. Okay. So I think with this few insights, I think I'm right here to close my session.
Thank you, ma'am. Can we take some questions, ma'am?
Yeah.
Do you have any question? Any participant have any question? So they can ask from ma'am.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Yes, good afternoon.
I have a basic question that a few days ago, we all are facing some OTP related scams in India.
Yes.
By female members of our Indian members. So how we can overcome it?
Yeah, by female members, that's what you said?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, my point is, being a female does not, make them innocent or something. Fraudsters, there is no gender bias to fraud or fraudsters, right? So we cannot really judge a fraud by the gender, whether it's a male or a female. It doesn't matter. You're into a fraudulent practice, you're the culprit. So I don't think being a female or a male, that really is not a matter. If you are into a fraudulent practice, you are a fraudster and you will be dealt in a relevant way. So here what we have to know is, if you are a prey, if you are a victim to a fraud, you have to know where to go, who to ask, where to contact, and what are the rights that are available to you. You don't have to keep quiet. So that is where awareness programs, education programs, and especially the law departments. I think you are a law student, right?
I'm BCom student.
Whatever. See, the educational background has nothing to do with awareness and all. You being a youngster, I think you have to advocate this literacy, right? You should not keep quiet. And you should also propaganda. You should also spread a word of mouth that these are the laws available. These are the redressal mechanisms available. We need not keep quiet. We have to fight back, right? So that is how our mentality or our outlook should be.
Is there anybody have any other questions?
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah, can you please allow me to ask a question?
Yes, you can ask.
Yeah. Good evening, ma'am. Good evening,
Yeah,
everyone.
Good evening, ma'am.
Yeah, ma'am. It was very, very insightful and aptful session. I must thank you from the bottom of my heart.
Thank you.
Thank you so much to the organizers for organizing such a wonderful, webinar on such a emerging topic.
Yeah.
Basically, ma'am, I'm also doing research work on consumer data privacy.
Okay.
And your session was really very, very helpful to me.
Oh, thank
Yesterday
you.
only, the way you were talking about that the ladies must be, motivated to literate more about. I
Yes.
have just finished up a survey and wherein I was getting very, very less response from the women.
Mhm.
And it was bothering me like anything. I said, no, my research work should not go like that. That only 30% women are participating in the survey. So it was basically on that use of mobile phones, apps, etc., and giving the access to the microphone, photo galleries. Somehow it was on that only. Ma'am, my question to you is that generally people are almost every second person is using mobile phones, smart mobile phones, and there are many inbuilt apps into it. And moreover, we also download the apps from the from the Google Gallery, Play, etc., etc.
Yes.
Though we used to try to download the app from a secure system, but the apps in itself, they are breaching the privacy of the consumer by asking us to take so much of permissions, and even if we do not give them permissions, they will not allow us to use the app.
Right.
Basically, I believe that they are using our data as a commodity. Again, it is a very debatable question that whether the data is a commodity or not, because it is as of now, I know it is not taxable basically. and the sale and purchase is not, being shown by the companies, the interchange of data what they are sharing with each other, because in the web, when it is stored, it is being given to the other company for what they are giving it, whether they are charging some lieu in cash or in kind, you never know.
Yes.
Maybe data to the data, maybe something they must be settling for. My question is, in fact my worry is that when we allow so much of access to our smartphones, so we are already into sorry ma'am, there is a disruption for my children.
Yeah.
Just a minute ma'am.
Yeah, maybe Shikaji was so concerned about the data privacy and the kind of.
Ma'am, let me finish up my question.
Yeah.
Just a second, ma'am. Ma'am, my question is that the apps, we are downloading many apps in the phone, and which is inevitable. We have to download those apps because in the, when we go for the e-commerce websites and all, it is very difficult to always, go browse the data on a website, and it is very convenient to, purchase via an app. So my worry is about that when we download the apps, we have to give access to microphone, we have to give access to the camera and other photo galleries, and they will always use it. For example, just I've given example with regards to the many social apps also. Let's say the Zoom, which we are using right now, many of them may not be allowing the microphone, may not be allowing the camera access, but even then the the mobile which is in front of the face, the camera is open. The moment we are opening the app, we may not be live on the camera, but the mobile the app is accessing our face, ma'am.
Yes, that is the problem. That is the problem area.
Yes, ma'am. So, ma'am, I just want to know about my question to you is that, is there any regulation? Can we stop the apps? Can we ask them that no, we will not give the access to our microphone, we will not give access to our phone data, contacts, everything they want to access. For example, yesterday only one of my friend who is an engineer in BSCS, he was saying that we have the customers have complained about that when we want to download the app asks us that give us permissions to the contacts, and if we are not allowing the contacts permission, the app cannot function. So isn't it unfair, ma'am?
Definitely it is. That is what I told you. Like all the people across the continents, across the countries, they have to work together. See, right? So it is not like one company is doing this or one app or software is doing this. This is a universal problem. Even a small little gaming app is asking permissions to access our gallery, our contacts, our email, whatnot.
We are far behind, ma'am. We are far behind from the other developed countries. Many developed nations do have consumer data privacy laws. Many nations do have such strict regulations on such apps, but we do not. Our government, I don't know for what good reasons, they are giving not taking so much of good actions against such apps.
I don't know whether it is appropriate for me to poke my nose into this conversation. Shikha madam, we have brought so many aspects of the digital era. Wonderful. Can you make a small article and send it to us?
Sure, sir. I will definitely do the same.
Please do, because it is not a person-to-person conversation here. If you can make an article, we will definitely represent this to the government if it is appropriate.
Sure, sir. I'm working on it. I'm about to conclude my article, sir. I have just finished up my survey yesterday only, and therein I have to put my foot down when the women were not participating. It was pinching me like anything. So I have personally contacted more than 200 women. I have convinced them that please participate in this survey. I have got 500 plus samples from the professional people only across the country. I have collected the data across the country, sir. from Kashmir to Kanyakumari and from Tamil Nadu, Pondicherry, Andaman and Nicobar. 2 people have responded to the survey from Andaman and Nicobar also, sir.
Doing a good job. Do it. But what we want is,
Sure, sir.
have,
I will share my contact number with the organizers, and yes, sir, we will get in touch then, sir.
please, you can
But I'm
keep
really
in touch
thankful
with
to you,
us.
sir. I'm really thankful to you for organizing such a good webinar, and especially the madam. She was so much, aptful and knowledgeable, and so much helpful, sir. Seriously, thank you so much. Thank you so much.
That's how we select the speakers. Thank you.
And somehow I would also congratulate that Kanpur, not in Delhi. We are, hearing this webinar from Kanpur, sir. This webinar is taking place in Kanpur. This is really,
You are from
something.
which place? Madam, you are from which
Delhi,
place?
sir. I'm teaching in Faculty of Law, University of Delhi.
I see. Are
Yes,
you
sir.
are you a member of Consumer Advocacy Group in Delhi?
Not now, sir. अभी तो मैं नहीं हूँ, but I will definitely, certainly, I will join soon. If you please allow me.
Okay. You know Indian Institute of Public Administration?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I do know.
There is an associate professor, Sapna Chadha.
Okay, sir.
Please contact her and join in Consumer Advocacy Group Delhi.
Sure, sir. Sure, sir. Sure, sir.
We
Thank
can
you
have
so
more
much.
interactions like this.
Right, sir. But I'm thankful to the head of the department of the institute today, because he had allowed me at the last minute to join this webinar. I'm so much thankful to him. So much thankful to him. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much.
Vishalji.
Yes, sir.
Now probably time for us to wind up.
Please let me finish. Let ma'am finish about her answer. Dr. Sirsa ma'am, please answer the question. Hello, ma'am.
You want her?
Ma'am, please unmute yourself.
There is no question. I think there's no question left.
Okay, ma'am. Okay, then okay. Fine. We're going forward. Thank you, ma'am, for your time. Your speech was both captivating and informative. Thank you for your dedication to consumer protection and under digital era. You talk about consumerism. You talk about basic consumer rights, which is very much true. You throw up light on the privacy of consumers, which is really a very important issue. So thank you, ma'am. Now this webinar is coming to an end. We are glad to inform you that in this webinar, from all over India, the registration reached us. This shows the importance of the topic. It's a huge success. I hope all the pain taken by Murthy sir and the faculty of our college has turned into a huge success. And to summarize the brief report of the webinar, I would like to call Ms. Kaushiki Trivedi, Assistant Professor of VSSD College, for the report reading of this international webinar. Ma'am, please. Ma'am, please unmute yourself.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much, Vishal sir, for giving me this opportunity. And a very good afternoon to everyone who is present here. As we all know, we all are gathered here for this international webinar centered around the theme Consumer Protection under the Digital Era. And in this seminar, approximately 300 people have registered themselves all over the India, not only from the Kanpur, but as you can see, from Delhi also, and from Rajasthan, from Madhya Pradesh, from Gujarat, and so on. And for this international webinar, we have with us Professor Dr. Sri Krishna Deva Rao, Vice Chancellor, Nalsa University. Our guest speakers, Dr. Balram Prasad Raut, Head Law Department, Tribhuvan College, University, Nepal. Dr. Srisha Manchem, Assistant Professor, Andhra Loyal College, Andhra Pradesh. Founding member of CAG International, Dr. P.V.V.S. Murthy. And Secretary of Board of Management of VSSD College, C.A. Neetu Singh ma'am, although she is not present here due to some technical glitch. We also have Dr. V.S. Tripathi, Dean CSJM University. We also have Dr. A.B. Jaiswal, Head of Law Department, VSSD College, Assistant Professor Mrs. Amrita Verma ma'am, Assistant Professor Vishal Gupta sir. And this webinar is started with the introduction and welcome address by our principal, respected Vipin Chandra Kaushik sir. For this international webinar, our chief guest, Dr. Sri Krishna Deva Rao, Vice Chancellor, Nalsa University, has graced this event by his presence. And in this speech, he emphasized on some important issue, that how much the amendment of 2019 is effective. And sir also talks about the policies and laws that has developed gradually. And sir also talked about the contribution of Manu Bhai Shah in creating this law policy, and sir also talks about the 7 rights of the consumers and also the 3 quasi redressal agencies. And sir also discussed about the telemarketing, and sir also made us aware with the Anil Kumar versus Amazon case, and how this unfair trade practices in this digital era becomes digital unfair practices. And the mediation, how this new dispute redressal mechanism has also been emerged and also been added in this Consumer Protection Act. And at the end, the sir concluded by saying that although these all amendment and development is there, but there is a need for comprehensive law. And after sir, we also got the opportunity to hear a very informative speech by our guest speaker, Dr. Balram Prasad Raut, Law Department, Tribhuvan University, Nepal. Sir mainly focused upon the e-services in Nepal and law and policies in this regard, and also compare Indian digital market with the Nepal. And he raised his concern regarding the cheating with consumers by e-services providers, and at the end, lacking of e-commerce law in Nepal. Our another guest speaker in this webinar, Dr. Shrisha Manchem, Andhra Loyal College, Andhra Pradesh, from Andhra Loyal College, Andhra Pradesh, also graced this webinar by her presence. Ma'am in her address talk about the consumerism that added a lot of development and shaping the economy. And on the other hand, she also talks about the consumer exploitation. That is a major issue. And the consumer are not aware with their rights. And indeed, there is a need to aware the consumer with their rights. And ma'am also mentioned some challenges in this regard, that the ma'am mentioned the consumer safety, that it should be a priority, and data security is a major challenge, and there is a no common standard in the countries, and there is a lack of digital literacy. And with this word, I would like to thank everyone who is present here. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am, for the detailed report reading of the webinar. Now I can say that this webinar is a huge success, and our audience have really get a benefits. Finally, I would like to call our HOD sir, Professor Dr. A.B. Jaiswal sir, who is a head of Law Department, VSSD College, and also a CAG member and UP coordinator also, who has always taken initiative for this webinar, and it is her thought that we organize this international webinar, and by the joint effort of PVVS Murthy sir and the Jaiswal sir, we are able to organize this webinar. And Jaiswal sir is always interested to work hard for our dear students and our faculty members and our department also. I humbly invite sir for the formal vote of thanks. Please, sir.
Thank you, विशाल. मेरी आवाज पहुंच रही विशाल?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. आ रही आवाज.
आप सभी को जय सिया राम. आप सभी लोग इतने गर्मी में और दोपहर में हमारे विद्यार्थियों के लिए समय निकाले. प्रोफेसर मूर्ति साहब, जिन्होंने इनिशिएटिव लिया कि यूपी टैग में एक कार्यक्रम कराना है, और उन्होंने स्पीकर तय किया, हमें फैसिलिटी अवेलेबल कराई ताकि हम ये प्रोग्राम कंडक्ट कर सके. इसके साथ ही हमारे कॉलेज के लीगल एड सेल की कन्वीनर अमृता जी, विशाल जी, जो कंज्यूमर क्लब के मेंबर हैं डिपार्टमेंट के, इन्होंने मिलके ये सारा प्रोग्राम ऑर्गेनाइज किया. आप इसके साथ हमारे जो कीनोट स्पीकर राव साहब थे, आपने हमारे मूर्ति साहब के निमंत्रण को स्वीकार किया. कल जब मैंने सर को कॉल किया था तो सर बहुत बिजी होने के बावजूद मुझे रिस्पांस किए और कहे कि मैं बिल्कुल आऊंगा. सर आपका बहुत बहुत आभार. के साथ प्रोफेसर बलराम सर से जब मेरी बात हुई तो वो हमारे मीटिंग स्टार्ट करने से पहले ही अवेलेबल थे। उनका मैसेज मेरे व्हाट्सएप पे आ गया था। सर आपका भी बहुत बहुत आभार। और मैडम से मेरी कल बात हुई थी, मैडम ने भी अपना कंसेंट दिया था। मैडम आपका भी बहुत बहुत आभार। इसके साथ जो भी पार्टिसिपेंट हमारे विद्यार्थी इसके साथ जुड़े हुए हैं, सभी का बहुत बहुत आभार। हमारी तरफ से, हमारे विभाग की तरफ से, हमारे कॉलेज की तरफ से आप सभी को बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद।
धन्यवाद सर। आपके मार्गदर्शन की वजह से ही हम इतने अच्छे कार्यक्रम को करा पाने में सक्षम हो पाते हैं। आप हमेशा ही हम लोगों को मार्गदर्शित करते रहते हैं कि कैसे अच्छे से अच्छे कार्यक्रम हम विभाग के मदद से करा सकें। और सर आप सभी को हम ये बताना चाहेंगे, जैसे ही हमारे जूम ऐप पे हमारा ऑनलाइन चैटिंग चल रही है, उसी के साथ हम लोग का लाइव टेलीकास्ट भी यूट्यूब पे हो रहा है, जिसमें हमारे स्टूडेंट, क्योंकि ऑनलाइन जूम में केवल 100 पार्टिसिपेंट की लिमिट होती है और हमारे पास रजिस्ट्रेशन बहुत आए थे, कॉलेज के स्टूडेंट्स की भी बहुत मांग थी, तो उसने हमने यूट्यूब पे भी लाइव टेलीकास्ट किया। उसको भी बहुत अच्छे से देख रहे हैं, उसमें बहुत सारे क्वेश्चंस हैं। अगर टाइम मिला तो आप लोगों को मैम फॉरवर्ड करेंगे, आप आंसर दीजिएगा सर। देन thank you so much sir and everyone for the participating in this webinar. And we have already put the feedback form in the link, so you can fill that feedback form, and from that you will get the certificate. Thank you sir.
Thank you Jaiswal ji.
Thank you sir.
Thank you Vishal.
Thank you sir. Thank you very much sir.
मूर्ति सर,
पार्टिसिपेंट जो भी चैट बॉक्स में फॉर्म भरा है वो भर लें। तब तक अभी के लिए 5 मिनट तक मीटिंग ऑन रहेगी, उसके बाद ऑफ करेंगे। आप लोग भर सकते हैं।
Sure.
थैंक यू सर। थैंक यू मैम। थैंक यू शीर्षा मैम।
Thank you very much.
थैंक यू मैम। थैंक यू।
chat box.
Chat box. Form is in chat box. Form is in chat box. You can fill that form. From that, you will get certificate in a while.
Okay, sir.
प्रभात जुड़े हो नहीं जुड़े हो? प्रभात कहीं दिख रहे नहीं दिख रहे?
सर पता नहीं। प्रभात सर, आर यू देयर?
सर अभी नहीं है।
जुड़े थे?
सर दिखे थे बीच में।
जुड़ा होगा बीच में, हो सकता है।
आप सभी पार्टिसिपेंट चैट बॉक्स में गूगल फॉर्म को भर दीजिए, उसके बाद फिर हम लोग मीटिंग को ऑफ करें। सर गोपालन सर।
हाँ सर।
सर वो यूट्यूब पे भी बच्चे फीडबैक फॉर्म मांग रहे हैं, दे दिया जाए?
हाँ दे दीजिए, यूट्यूब पे भी दे दीजिए।
हाँ, यूट्यूब पे जो लोग अभी लाइव कर रहे हैं उनको दे देते हैं, फिर बाद में नहीं देंगे। गोपालन सर। गोपालन सर।
डाल लिया सर।
डाल दिया सर, ठीक है। ठीक है, 5 मिनट से वेट कर लेते हैं, उसके बाद करते हैं।
Excuse me, Vishal sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, who is this?
Chirag this side.
Yes, हाँ जी, yes, बताइए.
I have a question that in which platform this live streaming is happening on YouTube?
YouTube.
In which channel?
In which channel? Professor Ajay Bhupen Jaiswal, sir. Professor, you can search on YouTube. Professor Ajay Bhupen
चैट
Jaiswal.
बॉक्स में शेयर कर दीजिए उसका लिंक, चैट बॉक्स में शेयर कर दीजिए ना.
हाँ, chat box में.
YouTube link was also shared along with the Zoom link.
गोपालन सर, इसमें आपने डाल
But
दिया
we
है.
haven't got that link.
गोपालन सर.
Okay, I am sharing. Please wait.
हाँ सर.
गोपालन सर, हमको लग रहा है इसमें पड़ा नहीं है YouTube में.
Thanks Lord, ma'am.
इसमें क्या नहीं पड़ा?
वही YouTube में.
YouTube में डाला है सर.
सर अभी दिख तो नहीं रहा मुझे.
Please check it to Ram Tripathi.
नुगरे खड़े लखावे,
अरे नुगरे नुगरे खड़े लखावे, सुगरे पीजे
घर के छोड़े.
गोपालन सर है नहीं, इसमें डाल दीजिए.
Thanks a lot, ma'am. I got that.
Okay.
तो बढ़िया थोड़ी डाल तो मैंने कही, मैंने साफ करके रखा. देखा दीवार बोल रही गंदगी मचा रखी है. साफ करके देखिए बैठ गए तो पहले बिछा रखी. क्या हो रहा है क्या?
विशाल सर
जी.
Vishal sir, can we leave now?
Sir, yes, you can leave, sir. This is only for the participant who want to take the certificate of want to fill the feedback form. हाँ, yes, बताइए.
हाँ सर, वो फीडबैक सर सबमिटेड हो गए सर.
हाँ, ठीक है, तो आप लीव कर सकते हैं. जिनका फीडबैक फॉर्म हो रहा है वो लोग लीव कर सकते हैं. अब YouTube पे चेक करिए, आप लोग मैसेज करके बताइए YouTube में फॉर्म फिल हो रहा है.
Vishal sir, particular link is not working on YouTube. Particular link is not working on YouTube chat. Please upload it on description. That it will be good for students for filling it out.
I don't have access for that. I can send you on something other platform. I will check it. तो अगर चल नहीं रहा तो फिर हम लोग इसको मीटिंग को क्लोज करते हैं, और जिनका है मेरे पास उनका रिकॉर्ड है, मैं उनको भेज दूंगा व्हाट्सएप. ठीक है, जिन्होंने YouTube पे ज्वाइन किया.
Okay sir, thanks a lot sir for this full section and webinar.
अगर नहीं चल रहा है तो वो सब प्रॉब्लम है, मैं भी देख रहा हूँ. ठीक है.
I hope everyone must have filled a feedback form by now.